trying to get as many topics and questions over as many topics as possible, so if it seems like I'm bouncing it, because I'm trying to get these topics in, not knowing time-wise where we're going to get in. I mean, these questions are all these topics. You brought up defense, Brian. We'll start with you. You brought up defense first. How do you see America's role in the world when it comes to military use? And do you support our military as peacekeepers?
You know, one of the most aggravating things I see that Congress has abrogated its responsibilities on is declaring war. It's clear in the Constitution that Congress declares war, yet they haven't done it since, I think, World War II. And essentially, you leave the executive with unfettered power in what he wants to do. You take the responsibility off yourself, and Congress is very good at that by appointing blue-ribbon commissions or saying this agency is going to do it rather than me, because I don't want to have to take responsibility for it when you all go back to vote. So I would say that when we have the possibility of going to war, we need to have our congressmen and women stand up and down and say whether or not they're for declaring war. And there's a lot of other effects to not declaring war on Iraq or Afghanistan like we didn't do. One is that our procurement system is business as usual. And so instead of going to war well prepared, ready for war, right off the bat, we go with armor in our Humvees or without the MREFs that we need to protect our soldiers in the field. We lost a lot of good men and women because they didn't have the body armor, they didn't have the trucks, the MREFs that they needed, and it took earmarks actually to get them because Congress refused to declare war. I can tell you, when I was an officer, you know, I didn't think about why we were in Iraq or Afghanistan. I knew why we were in Afghanistan for sure, but you know, my duty, my mission was to do what the president wanted me to do, and I wanted to complete that and do it well. Thankfully, even though our president won't ever talk about Iraq, we've accomplished the mission. We hopefully will have a new government formed now, and then our troops should come home.
But then again, the question was, where do you see the role of America in the world when it comes to military use?
You take an oath, so you defend your country, your constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And so when the country is threatened by foreign enemies, then you have to either defend the country against, you know, the enemies that we had in World War II, like Japan when they bombed Pearl Harbor, or when you have Al-Qaeda coming from Afghanistan bombing New York City. Hey, they're still doing it. They haven't given up. Again, our president pretends that, you know, we have common criminals that are flying planes to Detroit at Christmas time, and they're just, oh, by the way, trying to blow them up at the same time. He's a war criminal. Same as the guy that tried to blow up Times Square recently. You can't pretend who our enemy is or isn't. Our enemy is radical Islam. Ronald Reagan said the Soviet Empire was evil. I say radical Islam is evil. We need to meet them. And that's what
question, how do you see America's, because you're going to be up, if you win, you're going to be up there, you're going to be in Congress, how do you see America's role in the world when it comes to the use of our military, and do you support our military or as peacekeepers?
One of the things we have to make sure we don't continue to do is nation building. I believe that so much of our blood resource goes to building a country, basically, for example, here in Afghanistan, a medieval country that doesn't share our cultural values, doesn't share our perspective on human rights, that we try to not only make a difference in terms of our military effort, but we try to transform those cultures and those populations. We have to stop that. It costs way too much. It deflects a lot of our resources on the mission, the military mission, to kill and stop the aggression on part of Al-Qaeda, the Taliban. That's where we need to direct our resources. We have to get out of the business of nation building. George Bush said that he ran in 2000 on the fact that he was against nation building, yet in Iraq that's what we got ourselves mired into. We have to stop doing that because it's costing us way too much, both in terms of blood and resource.
Thank you.